Very good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about our fifth block, which is industrial policies, industrial resolution policies, and also we have Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Let us move on to Industrial Policy Resolution 1948. So before getting into the topic, let us discuss what is a policy and what is an industrial policy. So according to US International Trade Commission, industrial policy involves coordinating government actions aimed at directing production resources to domestic procedures in certain industries to help them become more competitive. This is an industrial policy. It's a kind of small definition. Let us get into industrial policies. What are the industrial policies and types of industrial policies? So here, Industrial Policy Resolution 1948, which I'm going to talk. Yeah. All industries were categorized into a following a few steps, like industries with a complete state monopoly, and industries in the mixed sector, industries under government control, remaining industries. So in this, let us go to the industries with complete state monopoly. So the three important industries in this category, including railway transport, arm and communication. So these are these two industries. And third one will be atomic energy. The development, expansion, and construction of new units are under the complete power and the control of states. So this state monopoly is completely, these industries will be under state monopoly. And industries like a mixed sector, there are six industries which are including coal, iron, steel, shipbuilding, telephone, and telegraphs. These are six sectors which were included in private as well government. So these industries were both the private and public sector participate for their development, and the existing private sector can continue for a period of 10 years, after which situation needs to be reviewed. Let us move on to industries under government control. Till now, we discussed mixed sector as well, complete state monopoly. So, third one will be industries under government control. So, these industries will, under government control will be under Industrial Policy Resolution 1948, which this includes. These industries are includes 18 number, and government has control over them. So 18 number of industries were included under industries under government control. Those were like some of these industries like fertilizers, electron chemicals, non-ferrous metals, woolen textiles, minerals, and etc. These were like industries under government control. Completely, these industries were under government control. Remaining industries like other than the above mentioned here categorized should be developed exclusively by the private sector. So apart from this, it goes under private sector. As we discussed earlier in IPR, the IPR of 1948 assigned an important role to the development of small and cottage industries. It recognized the need for foreign capital in the industrial development of the country, as the country was not having sufficient working capital and reserves. So this is about 1948 Industrial Policy Resolution. It has started in 1948, and it has four types like industries with the complete state monopoly, industries in the mixed sector, industries under government control, and remaining industries. Next, Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. So IPR 1948 was a policy that was done in, it include not covered the expected changes that were looming large. Therefore, the need for another IPR was in our own. So in 1956, there was a more progressive and appropriate and well-defined industries were formulated. And in second 5-year plan that was being launched in the country at the time. So after 1948, significant development took place in India. The Indian Constitution was adopted in January 1950. The Planning Commission was constituted in March 1950. This is about a 1956 industrial policy resolution. And let us discuss more about 1956 policy, which is classified into 3 categories. The first category is comprised 17 industries, which include Schedule A of the resolution, exclusively under the domain of government. And the second category comprises of 12 industries, which included Schedule B of the resolution, which I'm not going to give in detail number of 17 or 12 industries. And the third category will be containing all the remaining industries with the expectations that private sector would initiate development of these industries. They would also remain open for the state as well as. And another industrial policy measuring during 1960 and 1970. Let us discuss. These were industrial policies. Till now, I discussed about 1948 industrial policy and 1956 industrial resolution policy. And this is another one, industrial policy measures during 1960 and 1970. So, Monopolies Inquiry Commission, MIC, was set up in 1964 to review various aspects pertaining to concentration of economic power and operations of industrial licensing under the IDR Act 1951. Subsequently, the Industrial Licensing Policy Inquiry Committee, constituted in 1967, recommended that larger industrial houses should be given licenses only for setting up industry in core and heavy investment sector. So in 1969, the monopolies and restrictive trade practices, reorientation of industrial licensing policy, and act was introduced to enable effective control on concentration of economic power. So here, the new industrial licensing policy of 1970. What exactly is the 1970 policy? This policy categorized again into 4 sectors. Like first category terms as a core sector, which consists of basic, critical, and strategic industries. And second category terms as heavy investment sector, so which comprises projects involving investment of more than 50 million rupees, 50 million. And the third category will be middle sector, consisted of projects with investment in the range of rupees 10 million to rupees 50 million. The fourth category was delicensed sector, in which investment was less than 10 million and was exempted from licensing requirements. So these were the 4 categories which will be under new industrial licensing policy of 1970. Let us move on to what is 19th Industrial Policy Statement 1973. Just I'll give a little brief about what is the Industrial Policy Statement 1973. With a view of prevent excessive concentration of industrial activity in a large industrial houses, the statement gave preferences to a small, medium entrepreneurs over the large houses and foreign companies in setting up of a new capacity, particularly in the production of mass consumption goods. And let us see what is 1977 Industrial Policy Statement, what exactly it consists of. So Congress Party faced defeated and Janata Party assumed power. So new industrial policy was introduced to make radical changes in existing policy. So this is about our 1977 policy. I'm not going in depth. And Industrial Policy Statement 1980. What is this statement? Which is based on Industrial Policy and Resolution of 1956. It is based on Industrial Policy Resolution 1956, which we discussed in our second policy. And also, it's the following few socio-economic objectives are like optimum utilization of installed capacity and maximum production and achieving higher productivity, higher employment generation, correction of regional imbalances, and also promotion of export-oriented industries, etc. We have. And also industrial sickness and state policy, promotion of industries in rural areas. These were a little bit about 1980s industrial statement. So, what are the measures during 1980 policy? Let us move on. Measures. So, policy measures initiated in the first 3 decades since independence. First 3 decades after independence facilitated the establishment of basic industries and building up of a broad-based infrastructure in the country. The seventh 5-year plan, like during 1985 to 1900, recognized the need of consolidation of these strengths and initiating policy measures to prepare the Indian industry to respond effectively to emerging challenges. These are few measures during 1980 industrial policy. And let us see what is the new industrial policy of India 1991. The industrial policy statement of 1991 stated that government will continue to pursue a sound policy framework encompassing encouragement of entrepreneurship and also development of technology through investment in research and development, bringing in new technology, the regulatory system and development of the capital market and increased competitiveness for the benefits of a common man. So here are few objectives like what is this 1991 industrial policy of India is having, kind of enhancing gainful employment, same like what I repeated in earlier, maintaining sustainable growth and productivity. Like every policy need this sustainable growth and attain international competitiveness, transform India into a major partner and player. And also focus of the policy was to Indian industry from bureaucratic controls. These are few objectives which Indian industry policy is focusing in 1991. So there are few features about Indian industrial policy of India 1991. Like earlier, compulsorily licensing was required only in respect of 18 industry, as I mentioned earlier. These include like uh, coal or lignite, and also we have alcoholic drinks and cigars and cigarettes and drugs, pharmaceuticals, white goods, and also hazardous chemicals. These are few industries. And also a significant number of industries had been reserved for the public sector. Some areas reserved for the public sector are arms and atomic energy, defense aircrafts, and also railway transportation. These were few other industries which is present. And let us see what are the measures of industrial policy 1991. There are few measures which is consisting of like promotion of foreign direct investment, and also FDI up to 100% has also been allowed under atomic route for most manufacturing activities in special economic zones, SEZ. It's also called SEZ. So in 2004, the FDI limits were raised in the private banking sector up to 74%, oil exploration up to 100%. So here are a few statistics which I'll share it later in a PPT presentation, like reservation of items of manufacture exclusively in the small scale sector has been an important tenet of our industrial policy. So there are more extra objectives related to 1991 industrial policy in India. So it has a more measures. Here I have given only few examples of measure. And also let us move on. What are the impacts of new industrial policy and 1991 on Indian economy? So with this new industrial policy, it impacted Indian economy with the 1991 policy. So in 1991 policy, there were like a 17 to 18 measures which were impacted in the Indian economy. So how it impacted? Let us move on to this topic. Industrial policy today operates within a globalization process, as we discussed earlier. Globalization process which involves greater competition worldwide. So this era, globalization is demanding significant restructuring of a production. So here, as per chapter 4 of the FEAG, FEG report of industrial policy, the globalization process and the emergence of international players like China and India have revived proposals for target industry aid and the champions approach. So there also were other impacts, like let us discuss how the Indian industrial policy 1991 is affecting our Indian economy. So these measures are obviously there will be positive as well negative measures we can see. The first one will be creativity and innovation have become the order the day, and also knowledge is updated by the constant research and development. In recent years, in recent decades, if we observe, mostly countries are following investing on research and development. So for industries. So industries are concentrating on research and development to bring out creativity in product design. Not only in India, other countries, maximum countries are following the same objective, same goal. So quality aspect. Next one will be quality aspect has gained a lot of significance. The concept of quality aspect is has undergone a significant change. So it is believed that quality is not something which is determined by the quality control department. And also there is a significant growth of infrastructure. Also it is affecting on significant growth of infrastructure such as the transport, banking, and telecommunication, and also implementation of better technology, free flow of foreign capital, and also employment opportunities in MNC, better standards of living are perhaps some obvious benefits of the new 1991 policy. So these are a few uh, impacts so which is affecting our Indian economy, and also new small scale sector policy. What is this new small scale sector policy? So micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. So this sector has emerged as a highly vibrant and dynamic sector of the Indian economy over the last 5 decades. MSMEs not only play a crucial role in providing large employment opportunities at comparatively low capital costs than large industries, but also it helps in industrialization of rural and backward areas, thereby reducing regional imbalances and also assuring more equitable distribution of national income and wealth. And also the scheme programs like MSME scheme programs undertaken by ministry and its organization seeks to the facilities like provide kind of adequate flow of credit from financial industries and banks, and also support for technology upgradation and modernization, and also the scheme MSME scheme integrated infrastructure facilities and modern testing facilities and quality certification, access to modern management practices, and also welfare of workers. These are a few things which I mentioned in this program. Let us see what is a National Board of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. NBMSME, National Board of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So this was established by the government under the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Act 2006, as we know. So we are also aware of like rules made the under 2006 MSME Development Act. It examines the factors affecting promotion and development of MSME, reviews existing policies and programs, and also it makes recommendations to the government in formulating the policies and programs for the growth of MSMEs. What are the MSMEs? What exactly are MSME Commission? So Office of the Development of Commissioner. So under MSME, we have Office of the Development Commissioner, like the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Organization is headed by the Additional Secretary and Development Commissioner. The Office of the Development Commissioner assists the Ministry of formulating, coordinating, implementing, and also monitoring different policies and programs for the promotion and development of MSMEs in the country. So let's see what is recent policies for the micro, small, and medium enterprises sector. So what are the recent policies for MSMEs? Let us see. The most acceptable definition for this is like a small scale unit in India had always been the basis of investment in plant and machinery. So number of persons employed or turnover over the unit would be the alternative basis for defining small industries. So presently, according to the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development (MSMEDs) Act 2006, the MSMEs are classified as manufactured enterprises are the engaged in manufacturing or production of goods and also pertaining to any industry specified in the first schedule of the industries. And also the limit of investment in plant and machinery, equipment for manufacturing, investment enterprises are like as for micro manufacturing enterprises, investment in plant and machinery should be less than 25 lakhs rupees, Indian rupees. For microservice enterprises, investment in equipment should be less than rupees 10 lakhs. And for small manufacturing enterprises, investment in plant and the equipment should be less than rupees 5 crore. So it is increasing. For small service enterprises, investment and equipment should be less than rupees 2 crore. And also for medium manufacturing enterprises, investment in plant and machinery should be less than rupees 10 crore. For medium services, and medium service enterprises investment in equipment should be less than rupees 5 crores. So these are the investments as follows: a six number like 25 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 5 crore, 2 crore, 10 crore rupees, and also less than rupees 5 crores. These are a kind of six element which we can follow to start investment in MSMEs. And there are few measures initiated by the government for the development of MSMEs. So what are the measures which is initiated by the government for the development of MSMEs? First, let's see. MSME Development Organization was established as Small Industries Development Organization, SIDOs, in 1954. It established in 1954. And the organization has been renamed as Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Organization, MSME GO. So with the wider moderate of promotion and also development of MSME sector. It has over 60 offices and 21 autonomous bodies under its management. So the main services are rendered by the MSME DOs are like advising the government in policy formulation for the promotion and development of MSME, and also providing techno, economic, and managerial consultancy, common facilities, and extension services to the MSME sector, and developing human resource through training and upgrade upgradation, and also making available economic information and also services. So making available economic information services also included in our main, which comes under main services. And also the main activities of these institutions were as follow, which I am going to lead: conducting entrepreneurship man agreement and also skill development programs, and we have a few other activities like assistance and consultancy to prospective and existing entrepreneurs. And also we have more activities like the preparation of state and district industrial profiles. So their profiles are most important, and also energy conservation, pollution control, quality control, and technology upgradation. These are few activities which I mentioned. There were a number of activities, and also National Award for Research and Development efforts in small scale industries. People also, industries also will get national awards for research and development efforts in a small scale industries. The objective of the team is to encourage in-house research and development efforts and to promote this spirit in a larger interest of qualitative development in MSMEs. And next one, National Award for Small Scale Entrepreneurs. Industries also will get awarded with the small scale entrepreneurs. These schemes are for giving a national award for small scale entrepreneurs for displaying exceptional entrepreneurial skills and traits. This is given in a National Award for Small Scale Entrepreneurs. Next, move on to the Information and Facilitation Counter, IFCs, in MSME device. So this is updated information for the benefits of the prospective and existing entrepreneurs. The IFC provides a speedy and easy access to information to the public on the service and activities. And next, let us move on to Small Enterprise Information and Resource Center Network. So it was launched in 1997 April by the Office of the Development Commissioner. SSI. So with the following objectives, this scheme was modified subsequently by enlarging its scope to also include office automation tools and also language. And to facilitate easier online access for information seekers, especially the micro, small, and medium sector networking to the extent possible. So let us move on to Small Industries Development Bank of India. SID, Small Industries Development Bank of India was established on April 2nd, 1990, SIDBI. This is also called as SIDBI. And it was the principal financial institution for the promotions, financing, and development of industry in the small scale sector, and to coordinate the functions of institutions engaged in promotions of financing development industry in a small scale sector. So let us move on. National Small Industries Corporation Limited, NSICs. What are these NSICs? It established in 1955 and is heard by chairman cum managing director and managed by the board of directors. The main function of the corporation is to promote, aid, and foster the growth of micro and small enterprises in the country. It's generally on commercial basis. So NSIS provides a variety of support services. Here I'm going to give and what kind of things and what kind of sectors it is providing services. There are few sectors like raw material procurement, product marketing, credit rating, acquisition of technologies, adoption of modern management practices. These were few sectors which I mentioned, which NSIC is providing support. Let us move on to Exim policy. Exim Bank. What is Exim Bank? Which is established in India government. It is established by the Indian government and commenced operations in 1982. It started getting it operations in 1982 under the Export Import Bank of India Act 1981. 1981. So this Exim Bank, also called as Export and Import Bank of India. So it serves as a growth engine for industries and also export product development, export production, export marketing, pre-shipment and post-shipment, and also overseas investment in a rapidly shifting financial landscape. If functions as a catalyst and key players in our promotion of cross borders and trade investments. This is about Exim Bank. And let us move on to next topic like monetary fiscal policies. What are these monetary fiscal policies? So the monetary fiscal policies were like it is regulated policy by which the central bank of monetary authority of a country controls the supply of money and also availability of bank credits and also cost of money. So there is a rate of interest. Broadly, it refers to the credit control measures adopted by the central bank of a country. Here we are discussing about monetary and fiscal policy. There are a few objectives which we need to discuss in a monetary policy in India. Like a first objective will be like growth with stability. So traditionally, RBI monetary policy was focused on controlling inflation through contraction of money supply and credit. And next objective will be regulation and supervision. Regulation, supervision, and financial stability. What is this regulation, supervision, and financial stability? The ability of economy to absorb shocks and maintain confidence in the financial system is very important. So threats to financial stability can be from internal and external. So with a SWOT analysis, we can identify what are the internal and external threats of regulation and supervision financial stability. So to make financial stability, definitely there will be a internal and external factors which were influenced. So therefore, RBI role assumes a greater importance. And next will be like a promotion of priority sector. So promotion of priority sector will be depending on the 5-year plans of the government of country. So here in India, promotion of priority sector under this agriculture, exports, small scale enterprises, and weaker sections of population are some of the priority sectors which require timely and adequately credit and affordable cost. So the RBI, for instance, in collaboration with institutions like NABARD, it is focusing on microfinance and promotions of shelf help groups and other priority sectors. So NABARD is a best example for development or giving priority in agriculture sector. And next objective will be facilitate employment generation. So with this, definitely with this regulatory policies, definitely there is a uh, facilitation of employment generation. We can generate the employment by influencing the allocation of investment among various economic activities with the help of various monetary policy. And RBI encourages promotions of labor intensive industries so that more and more employment opportunities are created. And external stability. So, with the globalization, countries have become more independent and integrated. It is said that if America seizes, India catches full. So, due to important and exports, India linkage with the global economy are getting stronger. The RBI uses various control measures to ensure external stability through the mechanism of managed flexibility where it influences exchange rate by buying and selling foreign currencies in open market. Encourage savings and investment. One more objective is to encourage saving and investment. Bank rate is used as important tool by the RBI to encourage savings as well as borrowing and investment in the economy. So high rate of saving promotes investment. Thus, the monetary policy by influencing rates of interest can encourage a savings. And next objective will be regulation of NBFIs. So non-banking financial institutions plays a important role in deployment of credit and mobilization of savings. So the RBI can indirectly influences the functioning of NBFIs through its monetary policy. So monetary policy instruments and tools used by the RBI. How many monetary policies are, what are the instruments and tools used by the RBI? Monetary policy tools. So here, let me introduce a first tool like quantitative credit control measure. So the Reserve Bank of India act as the Banking Regulation Act provide the legal framework for the functioning of RBI in India. And next tool will be bank rate. So the bank rate is a minimum lending rate of the central bank, which it rediscounts first class bills of exchange and government securities held by the commercial banks. And the next one will be next tool will be open market operations. Open market operations refers to sale and purchase of securities in the money market by the central bank. So and also changes in a reserve ratio. This is a next tool. Every bank is required by law to keep a certain percentage of its total deposits in a form of reverse fund. So in these values, also certain percentages will be central bank. Next tool will be cash reverse ratio, CRR. It is an effective instrument of credit control as per the RBI Act. Every commercial bank has to keep certain minimum cash reserve with RBA with his empowered to vary the CRR between a certain range, says 3% and 15%. High CRR reduces the cash and availability in banks used for lending, and low CRR increase the cash for the lending. And next tool will be statutory liquid ratio, SLR. So it is a bank to maintain a certain ratio of its total deposits with RBI in a form of liquid assets like cash, gold, or other securities. Next tool will be repo and reverse repo rate. So here in determining interest rate trends, the repo and reverse repo rates are becoming important in this tool. And next tool will be quantitative. So first we discussed about quantitative. Let us move on to qualitative credit control measures, and also known as selective credit control. They are used to influence a specific types of credit for a particular purpose. And next will be ceiling on credit. So by imposing a ceiling on a level of credit of RBA restricts the a lending capacity of a bank to grant advances against certain controlled securities. And next will be under qualitative margin requirements. So a loan is a sanction against margin means a proportion of the value of security against which a loan is not a given. So next tool will be direct action and also some other qualitative tools were there, but I'm just discussing on a few tools. So till now we discussed tools regarding qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative tools were like general tools or indirect tools, and qualitative tools were the selective or direct tools. These tools we discussed just now. And let's move on to money supply in India. So you are aware of that the main job of the central banks is to control inflation by controlling money supply through quantitative and qualitative tools. The tools which we discussed earlier, quantitative and qualitative tools, and also direct or indirect tools which we discussed just now. Uh, for this purpose, the Reserve Bank of India has to make an objective assessment of how much money supply is there in the system in order to make a rational policy to control the money supply. So money flows and economy for our various financial assets like currency, demand deposit and saving deposits, time deposits, etc. It is therefore necessary to combine the potential flows of monetary sources by each of these into one or more order of definement. Next, monetary policy and money supply. So supply of money is the total stock of money held by the public in an economy. When money supply is viewed at a point of time, it is a stock, and when viewed over the period of time, it is a flow. So this is what a monetary policy and the supply. Let us move on to money supply effects of economy. There's three ways how money supply is affecting our economy. First one will be one. Money supply is used to control the inflation of economy is the first one. And second one will be money supply also has a direct relationship with the growth of an economy. And next move on to third one. Money supply also has a relationship with the interest rate, and one variable can be used to control the other. So both can be controlled simultaneously. If the RBI wants to take the interest rate at a certain level, it has to supply whatever money is demanded at the level of interest rate. So let us see, move on to impact of monetary policy. What is a monetary policy? Monetary policy is known to have both short and long-term effects. While it generally affects the real sector with a long and variable lags, monetary policy actions on financial markets, on the other hand, usually have important short-term implications. So there is a definite and remarkable economic impact of monetary policy on the Indian economy post-reform period. The importance of monetary policy has been increased year after year. So let us move on to fiscal policy. What exactly this policy will see what is the concept of this policy and objectives and description. First, let us define what is a fiscal policy. A policy under which the government uses expenditure as well revenue programs to produce desirable effects and avoid undesirable effects on the national income and also production employment. This is a concept of fiscal policy. In other words, fiscal policy refers to the government's actions and also affects its receipts and expenditure, which we ordinarily take as a measure by the government's receipts, its surplus as well a deficit. So let us move on to a few objectives of fiscal policy. The objectives of fiscal policy vary from different countries. For each country it is different. So in the short run, government we focus on microeconomic stabilization, like stimulating and aligning economy and helping reduce external vulnerabilities. In other long run, the aim may be a foster sustainable growth or reduce poverty with action and supply side to improve infrastructure or education. So let us discuss few objectives of fiscal policy. First policy will be like maintain achieve full employment. As we discussed earlier, we are only focusing on generation of employment by providing MSMEs. So maintain and achieve full employment, stabilize the price level, and also stabilize the growth rate of economy, maintain equilibrium in a balance of payments. So promote economic development. So these are few objectives which were there in our fiscal policy. So role of fiscal policy. What is the role of fiscal policy? So the role of this fiscal policy of economic growth relates to the stabilization of the rate of growth of the country, and also this policy through variations in government expenditure and taxation profoundly affects national income, employment, output, and prices. On the other hand, a reduction of public expenditure during inflation, during aggregate demand, and also national income, and also employment, output, and price, while an increasing in taxes tends to reduce disposable income and thereby reduces consumption and investment expenditure. Let us move on to differences between monetary and fiscal policy. Till now, we discussed about three regulatory policies. Those were monetary and fiscal policy. So monetary policy is regulated policy which by the central government or monetary authority, as we discussed earlier. So fiscal policy is the government's actions affecting its receipts and expenditure, with the ordinarily takes a measure by the government receipts. This is a fiscal policy. There is a difference. And let us move on to India's fiscal policy. So till now we discussed about fiscal policies. Here we are going to discuss one more regulatory policy, India's fiscal policy. So in India, fiscal policy played a pivotal role since independence, contributing significantly to the socio-economic development process of the country. So over the years, various instructions of fiscal policies like the taxation, public expenditure, and public borrowings have been employed with a varying degrees of importance. And also, this policy does not operate on isolation, as it has a close macroeconomic linkages with the real monetary and external sectors. So the Indian Constitution provides the overarching framework for a country's fiscal policy. So India has a federal form of government with taxing powers and also spending responsibilities being divided between the central as well the state government according to the constitution. So the tax policy in India has evolved and important components of fiscal policy, and that played a central role in a planned development strategy. So in particular, tax policy was a principal instrument for a transferring private savings, public consumption, and also investment. So the tax policies were also used to encourage savings and investments and reducing inequalities and also income and wealth. So foster balanced regional development and also encourage a small scale industries, MSMEs, on an assumption that they are all employment intensives. And also it influences the direction of economic activities in a country. These are few objectives of India's fiscal policy. Let us move on what exactly reforms in India. So in 1991, in reaction to the severe microeconomic crisis involving high fiscal deficits, and India carried out a series of economic reforms, including tax reforms. Those were GSTs in latest tax reforms in India. So it has started in 1991, and the tax reforms were normally undertaken keeping three parties in view. First party will be taxpayer equity. Second party will be government productivity and also community economy. These are the three parties which were part in tax reforms in India. Next, let us move on to goods and services tax. So this GST is destination based on tax that will replace the current central taxes and also duties such as excise duty, service tax, counter village duty, CVT, and special additional duty of customs and also sales tax. There were also other taxes. So here the parties are like essential suppliers have 5% and standard rate for goods and services is 12% and standard rate for goods and services will be again 18% and also expected for goods and currently taxed at more than 30%, which is having 28%. So next we have a public expenditure policy that we will see in the next class. If you have any doubts, please text in our WhatsApp. For any doubts, please do let me know. Okay, dear students, till now we discussed about industrial policies like meaning and objectives of industrial policies and industrial policies resolution 1948 and industrial policy resolution 1956 and other industrial policies measures and during 1960s and 1970s. This we discussed, and also new industrial policy of India 1991, impact of new industrial policy 1991 on Indian economy, and also we discussed about new small scale sector policy 1991. These are the policies we discussed till now. And recent policies for MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprise sectors. These were the policies which we discussed till now. Thank you. Next classes will discuss about India's foreign trade positions and also regulation of foreign trades. And we also will discuss about foreign trade policy of India 2009 to 2014 and what happened during 2009 to 2014 and highlights of the foreign trade policy 2015 and 2020. So recent policies we will discuss. So we are discussing from 1956 to till 2020. So these are few policies. We are coming back from past to present, like to 1956 to till 2014 policy to 2020 policy, 2014 to 20 policy. These policies we will discuss in our next class. Thank you.